Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are a new subscriber, I'm hoping you will subscribe. My name is Adejoy. Thank you guys for subscribing so far. All the likes, all the comments, they keep me going. They are the boost to my Lucozade. Welcome to this week's episode. Okay, as you know, I come to report myself to you with these buddies. So, okay, before I even report myself, let me even ask you guys, what would you do in a situation where an elderly person, right, falls his or her hand, in quotes, right? So let me explain. In the middle of the explanation, I'll report myself so that we'll join the matter together. So you know how growing up, right, if you're an African watching this channel, growing up we had this oh, there's some things you cannot tell an elderly person, there's some things you cannot do in front of an elder. You should be very respectful, you should bow your knees and hit your head on the floor and stuff, yada yada yada. Things like that, right? And so some of us grew up with those parts of culture incorporated into our subconscious. God, that was a lot of baby grammar. Jesus. Anyways, some of us grew up with all of that ingrained in us. And some of us have been unlearning, relearning, and adding to what we've been taught, while some of us are just, let me leave it like that. So, what do you do when an elderly person, right, is supposed to act a certain way according to the code of conduct that they gave us, and then the person doesn't act that way? What do you do? Okay, so I'm gonna give two quick examples. Now, my dad, I look like my dad a lot, and maybe because I look like him in like character and a whole lot of other things, we tend to fight like we're like alpha male, alpha female, two lions. Like a lion. Anyways, I'm sorry. It was just a song that played in my head. But me and my dad, like, we normally have this, my dad actually raised us to be opinionated children. So we tend to express ourselves when we're displeased, when we're upset, when we're angry. So if any one of us children do not say something when we're upset, I think you need to be worried. So my dad would be like, oh, you should not tell an elderly person that he or she is lying, or you shouldn't if like an elderly person uses his or her table manners, for example, belches or farts or something, it is totally wrong to tell the person that he or she belched or farted. And then I'm like, but guy, he did it. Why wouldn't I tell him that he ruined the atmosphere? He belched or something. So, there was a day that my dad had told me something the day before, and he came back and he was repeating the gist, and something inside was not just balanced. Like the debited amount and the credited amount, they were not aligning, and I'm like, sir, that's not true. Then he got upset that I told him he was lying, and I'm like, Another example. So my boss, right, at work, out of jest, somehow, said something that was not entirely true. It was out of jest, like it was not entirely true. And now I'm doing the air quotes because not entirely true. Okay. And then it was in my stomach like, oof, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? And then I'm like, should I tell him that or her that okay, sir, ma, it's not true, or should I have kept it inside? Now, throughout that day, why I said I'm putting myself to you guys, throughout that day, I know you're well at all. Like I was not okay, cause I'm like, should I tell him or her that, sir, ma, don't be lying on my head, or should I be like, okay, he or she's an elderly person, so let's just keep it. Honestly, my point of view though, Judge the opinion. That's if you're in a situation like that, let me advise you on what to do. Judge the situation, rather. Think about it. If it is something that can implicate you in the future or not, but if like not in the nearest future, if it can actually implicate you, if it has traits of implication, dear dialing GP, please, you can slip it in like a ballot paper and walk away. Or you can just, excuse me, sir, ma, but I thought you said, I thought you said, that kind of thing. Or what you can do, if you're going to not talk about it, take note of that person, take note of that situation. If it is a recurrent thing, then I think you should find a way to talk to the person like, oh, okay, this is what I noticed, and it's you guys that said we should be like this. That's just my honest, humble opinion. You get it? If the situation will not warrant, sister, brother, children of God, carry your face. Just look upstairs. No, before you carry your face, you do it doing so. You can be like, before you carry your face. But whatever it is, don't, my point is, don't be in a situation that you feel uncomfortable, or that your integrity is looking like it's being tainted just because you're supposed to obey a certain code of conduct that could probably have been wrong. For crying out loud, why wouldn't I tell an elderly person if the person does wrong? Well, the person would also correct me. Now, I don't have to be rude, when I'm airing my opinion. But then you told me to be someone that has a high standard of integrity. Do not lie, do not steal, do not look for trouble. Well, that last point. But then again, you do the same thing and then I cannot tell you, no. Of course I have to. So in the situation, think about it. If your integrity is being tainted, if your name or your character is being defamed, in quotes, find a way to put a stop to it. Find a way to address the situation and correct it. If not, just boju but count it like one. You can, when I say boju, like look away and start counting. Just be ticking it small. Now, you are not judging, but just in case the situation might open up for judgment, you have your facts file, you get it. So that's my opinion, honestly. But whatever it is, don't do anything that will put you in the middle of slander. It's very easy for I might be wrong, right? But I believe it's very easy for elderly people to pour the blame sometimes on the younger generation, but we should not allow it every time, especially when it is clearly wrong. So eventually, let me tell you guys what I did. Eventually, I slept over the matter because I'm like, okay, judge it. Was this daddy mommy wrong? It was wrong, but it's the first time, one. Two, it was in jest, so I can just let it go. But for next time, I'm not sure. This is me confessing to you guys now. I'm not sure, but that's all I just wanted to talk about today. How we, as the younger generation, should not collect everything. Like, we shouldn't be the recipients of all things that are not so palatable from the older generation. I feel like this coming week there'll be another something that happens. I need to come and report myself to you people. But for now, just think about it and let me know what you think. Let me know your opinion. Have your parents done stuff to you that you're like, or are you like from that pristine background, like your parents are not totally African? This is me, you mean that?